Okay, final question. Maybe this is more for me, but David can add to it too. But it's, what were your expectations of your first job out of college versus what is the reality of your first job? And I think the first thing that comes to mind is, in college, I just assumed, like, as a materials engineer, there would be a lot of materials engineering jobs, like materials engineer at this company, materials engineer at this company.
Yeah.
But that's not actually the case from what I've seen. It's a versatile field, but I don't think, in my perspective, that the real world has caught up to the value that MSEs can provide, specifically as like materials engineers. And so there's a lot of roles we can enter, and not all of them incorporate like the traditional material science principles that we learn in our coursework on a day-to-day basis. Some are very much more MSE heavy, like maybe David's internship is, but there's roles like process engineering or like quality engineering, manufacturing engineering, where you're incorporating more of like the traditional engineering problem solving methods into your work, and then you kind of take some bits and pieces of your knowledge of various materials or equipment, and you're incorporating that into improving existing methods. So that was like one thing that I realized is, like, in my role at Boston Scientific, it's not totally like MSE heavy. I get my share of MSE through this podcast, really, and just like listening to other people talk about their work, which is really cool. With my work, there is some elements of it. So for example, like when it comes to the design of a specific like guide wire or catheter, if we want to improve it, then we can consider various materials to help improve this one specific component. I guess that's like as specific as I can get, but that's where, like, being a materials engineer, I was marked as like the SME for materials in our team. So there's elements to it. There's definitely ways where you can provide value in our role, but that was the difference, like in terms of what I expected going into this job world versus the reality of it is materials engineer is a small subset of all of the different roles you can apply to and the different extents of using and incorporating your material science knowledge.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I think that the value of MSE is overlooked. One project I've had at one of my internships was easily solved in about 5 minutes after I looked at the solution, just because they were using a polymer above its TG and wondering why it kept on moving. And so just people don't know because it hasn't been a very big focus, and people who are more mechanically inclined just don't know about like TG and other of these material properties that basically will tell you right away what the issue is. So I think that's like a great point. And then just really just thought I would know a lot more about what I was doing from school, but you learn a lot on the job, and just being able to have some background knowledge about maybe like the goal of what you're doing is good, but just continually learning on the job and figuring out what's important for you to know, what's important for you to learn more about, and what's important for you to grow in is all very important.
Yeah, that is also a big thing, is like undergrad is it's very general. Honestly, you're learning a little bit about a lot, and in your job, you're learning a lot about a very small like subset of a field. So yeah, that's a great point, is you really have to just show through your undergrad career that you're very curious, you love to learn, and that you can adapt to things and pick things up quickly. I think those are the big things that you can show a recruiter, and that's important to a hiring manager, is, are you willing to learn, and can you adjust to things on the fly? Can you pick up things and just continue to learn as you go? Because they're not expecting you to know everything right out of the gate. They're just hoping that you can quickly just pick things up as you go. If you're thrown into the fire, can you adjust? Can you make it? Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for watching this segment of the It's Material World podcast. For the full episode, hit the link in the description. We'll see you soon. And in the meantime, go change the world.